Honorable J.D. Hayworth, representative of Arizona's 5th District in the House of Representatives from 1994 to 2006. A few days ago, he announced he had stopped doing his Phoenix-based radio talk show, and now he sounds ready to challenge John McCain in the Republican primary for Senate this August. Mr. Hayworth joins us right now from Phoenix. J.D., thank you for joining us. I guess you've been there, you've been outside, and you want to come back into politics. What lessons have you learned in this rich ride from inside to outside and perhaps back into inside again? What lessons?
Well, I think the biggest lesson is it's been good to be home with the people. It's been good to be away from the kind of bubble on Capitol Hill that can develop. And I can tell you, so many Arizonans reached out to me as a broadcaster. I know, Chris, you've had a foot in both worlds, having worked on Tip O'Neill's staff and then as a White House speechwriter, and now as a broadcaster. You hear from a lot of people. And of course,
I've learned a lot along the way as well.
Yeah, and you considered it.
But you're
let's just lay on the table. You took a look at running for the Senate from your native state of Pennsylvania and decided not to. So
but you're talking about running against John McCain. He's a hero out there in Arizona, isn't he?
Well, I will tell you, nationwide. Oh, look, I think, and you'll recall, 10 years ago, I was very active in John's presidential campaign. But while I think all of us think the world of John McCain, have a lot of respect for him and his service to our country in so many different ways. The fact is he's just been in Washington too long, and now there's a clear divergence of opinion on several issues of substance where John is, quite candidly, a moderate who describes himself as a maverick, and I'm a common-sense, consistent conservative who I believe better reflects the values of Arizona conservatives and Arizona Republicans.
Would you be a finer representative from Arizona than the present senator? Would you be a finer person to represent Arizona in the U.S. Senate than John McCain?
Well, I believe that everyone has different qualities they bring to bear. I think, again, as I touched on earlier, I would be a consistent, common-sense conservative. For example, let's take a look at the economy. John McCain voted for a bailout of the big banks, $700 billion, including many earmarks. During the presidential campaign, he embraced a plan and announced a plan that would have been $300 billion to basically take over bad mortgages. And during my time in the House, as the only Arizonan to serve on the Ways and Means Committee, I consistently fought for tax cuts, and sadly, John McCain went to the well of the United States Senate and said those were, quote, tax cuts for the wealthy. In terms of national security, you and I both know, as do your viewers, John McCain paid an immense physical and personal price for his duty to country. And yet we have some very different opinions on how to deal with Islamofascism. John McCain does not believe in enhanced interrogation techniques. Indeed, John McCain would confer upon enemy combatants the rights and privileges afforded by Geneva Convention signatories.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. And I think that sadly, in a lot of ways, though nobody can doubt John's sincerity, and it may not have been his intention, but sadly, he has enabled President Obama to move even further to the left in terms of these enemy combatants, in terms of the troubling spectacle of bringing the 9/11 organizers to New York City and possibly to have trials of other enemy combatants in Washington, D.C.
Well, you've hit some serious points there. Let me go back to the issue of enhanced interrogation techniques, as you call them. Most people call them, well, certainly we're talking the same language here. He doesn't like waterboarding. He says that's torture. You disagree?
I do disagree, as I understand it. Well, as I understand it, that enhanced interrogation technique is something that our own military undergoes training, certainly our own special forces. And let's not forget, if memory serves, it has been credited in several different publications as preventing no fewer than 4 9/11 type attacks. That is a serious benefit
but that was to train
from enhanced interrogation techniques.
But that was to train our service people to be prepared for what they would face in North Korea with the Chi-Coms up there. The Chinese communists that would do anything to our guys. We were training them by using waterboard. We didn't do it to them for some sort of get any information out of them. We got them to have to deal with a horrible enemy. Do you want to be as bad as the enemy?
No, that's exactly the preparation we go through. And if we wanted to be as bad as the enemy, I don't think anyone is suggesting here that we behead our own troops, as the Islamo-fascists have done to both troops and journalists. Look, we've got a serious fight on our hands. And while I respect John and his service, we have a disagreement when it comes to that, one of many disagreements.
Is it better for the state of Arizona that he be dropped as the senator and you be replacing him? Is it better to dump John McCain and replace John McCain with you, sir? Is that a better deal for Arizona?
I believe in the long term, yes, it will be a better deal. I think John has served admirably. We have some disagreements, but he served in the Senate for close to a quarter century, and it's time for him to come home. I think on the issues I just outlined, on a clear, common-sense, conservative philosophy, that I will be the choice of Arizona Republicans to go to the United States Senate during our primary August 24th.
What changed your mind? On November 6th, you wrote a letter, a public letter, urging the newly elected president to make him Secretary of State of the United States, one of the most demanding positions there is in the country, and now you want to retire him. In only a few months, you've chosen to go from a position of urging to put him into one of the most high-intensity positions in the country, demanding all kinds of energy and intelligence and sharpness of mind, and now you're saying he's tired and he ought to quit or leave. It's an amazing change of mind on your part.
No, Chris, I never said he was tired. I never said he was tired. And believe
well, you
me,
think
in this
he can't
campaign,
do the job?
I know John McCain. No, I think he served too long in the Senate. I dare venture to say, with all due respect to Mrs. Clinton, John McCain would have probably been a better Secretary of State if the president was intent on truly having a nonpartisan foreign policy. That would have been an important signal. So I think that's something you could have considered. Of course, that was then. This is now. And if John McCain chooses to run again for the United States Senate, which, of course, is his right, I respect that. But I will vigorously oppose him, and I intend to win the Republican nomination in August of this year.
Okay. Most people will look at this race as John McCain being a somewhat of a middle-of-the-road conservative, I guess a mainstream conservative, and you as a bit further right than him. I think most people will look at that. Are you as far right as the birthers? Are you one of those who believes that the president should have to prove that he's a citizen of the United States and not an illegal immigrant? Are you that far right?
Well, gosh, we all had to bring our birth certificates to show we were who we said we were, and we were the age we said we were to play football and youth sports. Shouldn't we know exactly that anyone who wants to run for public office is a natural-born citizen of the United States and is who they say they are? But let me pause and make another point.
Do you think
Chris,
there's a question out there?
No,
I'm reading your letter that says the president should go back and get his birth certificate from the governor of Hawaii. You dated this November 6, 2000. I'm just asking you, do you stand by this letter?
No,
should the governor of Hawaii produce evidence that the president is one of us, an American? Do you think that's a worthy pastime for the governor of Hawaii right now?
No, look. I think it's important for all of us to be. I'm just saying the president should come forward with the information. That's all. Why must we depend on the governor of Hawaii?
Okay, well, let me ask you about former Governor Palin. Now, this is always interesting in your party because it's a conservative party, and that's fair enough. That's how our country runs, liberals against conservatives. But it seems to be a finer argument now. Sarah Palin is backing John McCain, and Sarah Palin's a hero to the far right in your party, and now she's backing McCain. How do you figure that allegiance?
Well, listen, we all understand gratitude in politics, and I think obviously Governor Palin feels strongly that John McCain gave her an entrance to the national stage and put her on the national ticket. That's all well and good, and certainly we invite a lot of tourist dollars into Arizona, and we'll certainly welcome the former governor of Alaska back here. But, Chris, in the final analysis, it's not Sarah Palin from Alaska. It's Sarah Jones from Payson, Arizona. And it's not Scott Brown from Massachusetts doing robocalls. It's Scott Davis from Tucson. In other words, with all due respect to fellow Republicans and fellow conservatives, Arizona Republicans will decide who the Arizona Republican Senate nominee will be in August.
Will you be one of the choices?
Oh, yes. We're moving forward. Now, again, because we sought to criminalize politics in the name of reform, let me say we're in the process of filing the documents. I guess you'd say it's the ivory soap. I'm 99 and 44th, 100% certain, barring some sort of cataclysmic family event that will make this race.
Well, I'd love to moderate that debate. Thank you very much. J.D. Hayworth of Arizona.
We'll invite you out. Hey, here, we've got a chance to make news right now. We invite you. Yes, indeed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Chris.
Congressman Hayworth. Up next.